All right, we're back. That was a unplanned little technical difficulty, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate all of you for still tuning in with us here on Stats Over Politics, episode number 8, part 2. If you are tuned in here on our YouTube and Twitter feeds, then you notice it's just the three of us. Kevin had to run, and as he tried to exit the chat, it kind of crashed the whole thing. So we are back now. We appreciate you all for tuning in. Gary, you were in the middle of your whole thought on who I think will be the GOAT one day, LeBron James. If you could finish that up for us, please.
Yeah, it's all good. Technical difficulties happen. It's all good. We learning it and we improving out here. All right. Anyways, what I was gonna say, back to Rob Pelinka, I was gonna say the Lakers are again wasting his prime, and I would still say I wouldn't say LeBron's isn't like towards the tail end of his prime. If you're scoring 40 in the NBA game, I don't care what season you're in or anything, you are still technically in your prime, especially the caliber LeBron James is. And he's just still a big body bully in front of all these players. These players ain't getting bigger than him. It don't even matter. You can see it in person. Don't matter which players are in, rookies, sophomore, any players, they're not as big as LeBron unless you're Giannis or one of the very few people in this league right now. So LeBron, I would still say is top 10. And if you're top 10 caliber, AD, we need you to show up, buddy. We need LeBron needs some help. We need anybody's help. I know we got players trying to step up here and there. You know, I'm forgetting his name right now, but he used to play on the Warriors. I'm sorry. Toscano Anderson just came back right now, got healthy. He's doing his thing. And, we just got a lot. They got AK-47 doing his thing, Alex. So, not Caruso, but you know what I'm saying? The other, not AK-47.
Okay. Okay. I was about to say Caruso, he in Chicago now.
Not Caruso, the other white guy, my guy. But
Austin Reeves,
AR for that AR. There you go, AR, whatever. Yeah, I'm lost because right now this whole little live thing went down. Got the whole train of thought off kilter right now. But I was just gonna say though, they just need to get LeBron help, guys. What else can we say? I know there's not that moves they can do. I know they're still eyeing on big trades like DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, maybe even they're seeing a lot of players right now. That are in the rumor mill like they always are with the Lakers, but at the end of the day, they're going to have to step up on defense, which they haven't been doing as much as they were in the beginning of the season. And they're going to have to hit more shots. And realistically, they just need some more rim protection too, because rim protection has been lacking because of AD not being there. So that backup center role has been tough for them, even though I like my guy D Jones. They haven't been giving him too much time. But I would just say that doesn't help LeBron out, man. He's over here hinting at the fact that he don't want to end his career this way. So he's basically telling you, help. Hello, help. That's what he's basically saying to everyone right now. So hopefully they can turn it around slowly but surely. But you could just tell this team don't got enough talent. But hey, like we said with Tommy, don't put the goat in the dance. It's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see LeBron James in the playoffs, just like we were talking about earlier with Tom Brady. So we shall see what happens with the Lake. We know that LeBron is going to get the scoring record, whether or not if he is the greatest of all time, that is to be debated another day, like you said, Gary. But LeBron James, he is just on an absolutely another level. And Javon, I think you were the one who brought it up, asking what were MJ's stats when he was 38 years old. And I think I saw a stat that it was
21 points he averaged in those last 2 seasons
for the Wizards. But he wasn't even playing this age. He was done. He was retired at this time.
So LeBron, I mean, he's playing at a super high level now, just averaging closer to 30 points a game, 8 rebounds, I think. Probably going to be an all-star again this year. He's kind of just knocking out every statistical category. You're running out of debates for why you shouldn't say LeBron is not the greatest of all time, because he's about to be, I think he's the top at assists. He's going to be the top in scoring. I think he's already has the top in points in playoff series of all time. So I mean, it's hard, but at the same time, you just look at that record, that 6-0 that Michael Jordan has. It's tough to come by. But I feel like if LeBron and Mike played 1-on-1, I feel like LeBron would win if that were the case.
Ooh, but I have a lot of people will probably say no on that. I'm not gonna lie.
But
it's the big body.
But I think that it's hard to get over that record that LeBron has going up. Going through the East, because the East back in the day was pretty easy. Kind of he just ran through the East, and then now being in the West,
he made it look easy, Vaughn.
And then when you go up against Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson in the finals, multiple years, it's kind of tough. Those gimme ones that he had against the Dallas Mavericks
That's
were
his
kind of
fault.
tough. And then going up against the Spurs, so he went up some tough competition, definitely in the finals. But I think LeBron is definitely one of the greatest players of all time.
I always tell people this too, real quick, Sean, before you go. When you have the GOAT debate, I always say it's like either you could pick legacy or you could pick player. And you would think that I think a lot of people would actually say LeBron's legacy might be better because, like Von mentioned, all those stats and statistics he owns in Cavs. But the
MVPs,
biggest golden one of them all, obviously the 6-0, which is funny because if we're talking about rings, obviously we already know Bill Russell, late great Bill Russell, who just passed away, God bless his soul, who has the most rings as an NBA player, primetime NBA player, I should say that, and an all-star caliber player. And you can say, he also, everyone always forgets Kareem. He was one of these GOATs. He was one of the unstoppable moves. He's a scoring leader right now. You know what I'm saying? Has 6 chips himself. But I always say, like, kind of what you guys said. Now, I wouldn't say one-on-one. I would say, let's say if we're at the park and we have picking and we're picking and we see LeBron. We don't take the names off. You just look at LeBron and Mike. That's why I would say I think they would take LeBron because you would say, this guy does what? I've seen him play at the park a couple times. He scores. He passes me the ball. He scores the ball at will at the rim. His jumper is as comparable, obviously not as close to Mike in the mid-range, but, as comparable in terms of scoring, his getting points on the board, the name of the game, getting buckets in that hole. LeBron's up there with that. So that's always a, title. Like, it's kind of crazy. I would always say, people I think would say LeBron's legacy is better, but I would actually go the opposite. I would say Mike's legacy is better, but LeBron, if you just picked him out, stripped him from the name and everything around them, just looked at the pure player itself, I would take LeBron James. But this goes to generations.
And Gary, the word that you said there, it was legacy, and that I want to kind of take that back to when you were last on the pod a couple of weeks ago when we were debating the face of the NBA. Like when you said the face of the NBA, I thought of who is the best player, but you guys were thinking on the grand scheme of things, like who represented the NBA. Like when you think of the NBA, obviously people thought of Allen Iverson, which was the debate that we had that day. But now when it comes to the overall legacy, it's like, yeah, for career statistics, LeBron James will have anyone beat. But if you consider your legacy being about the individual stats or being about the team accolades, like you mentioned, Bill Russell, Jordan has that perfect 6-0 record in the finals with 2 3-peats. And so it's really about what your definition of the word legacy is.
Yeah, one more thing. We always have this debate another day. One of the greatest debates ever, obviously. But
this is a summertime topic.
Yeah, it's one more thing I just want to add just on that real quick because we're talking about LeBron's greatness. I would just say, like, I think also the difference between him and Mike obviously is like we were mentioning. This is what kind of goes when LeBron turns 38 and drops 40, is how long the peak. People could say Mike's peak was the highest peak of people have seen. But LeBron's really close to that peak, and that peak was sustained longer. So, I think at the end of the day, this is all good. It's just sports. Everyone's going to prefer what they want to prefer. That's why I like to just cover the conversation now. These go to generations, man. You can't even tell players nowadays because a simple evolution is that players get better. Like simple evolution. You're going to get better over time. But you would actually say that. I'm not going to lie. You see what Luka and them say? It looks like it's easier to score here compared to, other places around the world because other places around the world, there's more tighter defenses. There's more pickle. There's less guys with that many, it's more tougher to score because how the game is played. And now it's more easier to score nowadays, but I don't want to take that fact away. Just because they're better and more better at something doesn't mean that we should knock them. And like, let's say, there's probably way more people getting 50 nowadays. Like we said the other day, Donovan Mitchell getting 71. Way more people getting that nowadays than obviously back in the 2000s. Just way more depth of players in the NBA nowadays, which is going to cause more scoring, but also going to cause more competition. But it's really hard to compare, guys. It really is hard to compare generations. So that's why I like to say, let's just respect everybody, man. It goes to generations. But what fun is that? What fun is that?
It's the physicality. The game is completely different than it was when LeBron James walked into the NBA, as he's been in the NBA for almost 20 years and the game has evolved. And with it, he has had to as well. Gary, last word on this.
Thing. One thing too, like we said, I don't care which player it is. Any great player can play in any generation. So anyone trying to say that this player can't play in that generation, that player, I don't know if you guys are do or this with me, but I always stand on, if you're a great player, I don't care what generation you're in, you can be able to play. That includes Shaq playing now, Shaq playing back then. You can take any player. A player back then with no jumper, you can tell him I still think he can play today. If it's a great player, I feel he can play.
And so, since we last left off, the Kings have won 3 of their last 4 games, including beating Utah twice. Last week, when we last talked to you all, we actually decided for the first time on Stats Over Politics not to give predictions on how we think the Kings would do in the upcoming week. And hey, Javon, it worked out pretty well. The Kings, they went 3-4. They ended up winning that second game against the Nuggets. Gary texted in our group chat after the first game. He said, hey, don't worry. Kings will get their get back tomorrow night. And they did do that as they beat the Nuggets by 1 point, 127-126 last Wednesday. Then Friday night, I was there to see the Kings get another 1-point victory as they beat the Jazz and the finisher, Lauri Markkanen, 126-125. And then they lose to the Grizzlies on New Year's Day. And the Kings win another close one as they win in Utah tonight by 2 points against the Jazz, 117-115. So before we get to the Kings winning 3 of their last 4 games, I just want to ask you guys a quick question. And I want to ask whether if this is fair or foul, because I had a bit of a debate with my guy, Colin Giordano, about this. And he said that I was completely out of line for what I did when I went to the Kings game on Friday. And I want to get your guys' opinions and anyone who wants
I've
to
been to the
participate
game with
in
Sean.
the YouTube comments. No, it wasn't what I was saying. It was
Okay.
well, I mean, I clapped for a certain player. But anyways, so I went to the Kings game on Friday with my friend Matthew, and I wore a Lauri Markkanen Finland jersey. I am a Kings fan, and I went to a Kings game wearing a Lauri Markkanen Finland jersey. And luckily, me and my friend Matthew, we were literally in the top row of the arena, so I was very well hidden if I even needed to hide. But I wanted to go and represent Lauri Markkanen, cheer for Lauri Markkanen. Obviously, I was rooting for the Kings to win the game. But throughout the game, when Lauri Markkanen would score, I would clap for him. Didn't clap for any other Utah Jazz player. And when the Kings would score, I would clap for the Kings.
Who are you?
But Colin's point is he said that's foul. How, like, you could cheer for a guy, like Colin's argument was, I'm a LeBron fan. I'll cheer for LeBron during the pregame warmups, but I'm not going to cheer for every single one of his baskets. But my argument is that Lauri Markkanen is it for Finland. And as someone who is Finnish, I'm just proud. And I wanted to represent and support him. I wore his jersey to the game. Javon, I'm going to start with you. Fair or foul? Did I make the wrong decision wearing a Lauri Markkanen Finland jersey? Not the Cavs, not Chicago, not Utah. Lauri Markkanen Finland jersey. Was I wrong to wear that to the Kings Jazz game this past Friday?
It's foul, man. You're rooting for the other team. You're supposed to be a diehard Kings fan, and you go cheering the other team. Nah, man. I get where you're coming from. You know, obviously everyone knows. Well, I don't know if everyone knows, but Sean knows that I'm a huge fan of Kyrie Irving. So whenever I think we went to go watch Kyrie play, was it the Celtics game? It might have been.
It was. Yeah, I think that was when he first got to Boston. Yeah,
it might have been when he played for the Celtics. So me and Sean went to go watch Kyrie. So I don't even think I cheered for Kyrie like every basket, but I was like, damn, like Kyrie got a good bucket. Like that's my guy right there. So it's hard, because a lot of nowadays people like to root for players. Like you said, a lot of people root for LeBron, a lot of people root for this. So I guess your guy is Lauri Markkanen. And then you got to see him play, and he hit a lot of clutch shots in that game, I might add, and in this game below. But come on, man,
36 piece.
You're a Kings fan. You can't. You're like one of the hugest Kings fans I know, and you're cheering for the other team. It's foul, man. It's foul.
Not the other team. One specific player on the other team.
The other player who's on the other team.
Okay,
exactly.
All right. Okay, so Gary, you are also a diehard Kings fan. So fair or foul? Was I fair or foul?
Sean, hand me your Kings card right now.
Wow.
Have your Kings card. You get
It's like
one
that.
game. You get one game suspension.
One
You get
game
one game
suspension.
suspension. You can't have your card for one game, bro. So maybe that doesn't count today's game. Next home game, you don't get
Next
to go
home game.
tomorrow. You do not get to go.
I got
Bam.
tickets. I got
You're
tickets to
banned.
tomorrow's game against
Bam.
I
Atlanta.
better see you cheering at tomorrow's game for what you did.
You gotta be cheering for
I
Tatum
better see you.
next thing we
Yeah,
know.
you have to cheer twice as hard now. I better
Yeah.
see you trying to. You better. I need tomorrow, Sean, to paint his body purple with a big K in the middle.
All right,
Now-
Javon, I'm gonna need my cowbell back so I can go twice as hard. I'm gonna need my cowbell back.
Exactly.
for you.
Sean,
Tell
I'm
the
in the
story.
same situation as you. I'm a LeBron fan. We know that. I hate the Lakers. I hate the Lakers all my life. But LeBron gave me more happiness than the Kings ever did. I always say that. But LeBron comes to the building, especially he's on the Lakers, even when he's on the Cavs or Heat. I should probably, as a kid, I probably used to go for Bron because the Kings just suck. But we're good right now, Sean. We're good right now. So,
you telling me I'm fair weather?
hey, I was a kid. Now I got my mind right better. All right.
Hold
I'm
on,
going.
hold on.
You got to
Wait,
go for the
wait.
Kings. You can't cheer
But you-
for no players on the other team.
So you're a huge LeBron fan. You wouldn't wear a LeBron James St. Vincent St. Mary's high school jersey to go watch one of his games?
I would. If I had
That's
one,
exactly
would.
what I did.
But
That's
I wouldn't be
basically exactly
cheering.
what I did.
wouldn't be cheering for him. I
Okay,
would not be
okay.
cheering. I would choose the
See.
team I'm going for that day. And if I chose, that's my stance. If I chose the Jazz, like in your situation, I cheered for the Jazz all day because Laurie
Nah, fuck
Marcus on
no.
that team.
Nah,
I'm
Kings
going
till
for
I
the
die.
Kings. You got to go for the Kings, man. You can't be cheering for the only thing. I don't care. You can wear any jersey. That's all good. Even though I hate
Alright.
people who wear jerseys that don't even the team not even playing.
Yeah,
It's the weirdest
yeah.
thing to me. I'm like, why are you bringing a Nuggets jersey? Some guy brought a weird jersey the other day. I was looking. I'm like, bro, this team not even playing. What are you doing?
Okay, so the
But-
final verdict is that wearing the jersey is okay, but cheering during the game
Yes, that's
for that
my
opposing
verdict right
player,
there.
that's
what
where
makes
it goes foul.
That's
Okay.
why you get suspended for a day.
Well, I'm gonna be there tomorrow, whether if I'm suspended or not, because I got tickets and I'm going. And
Nah.
Javon, I'm gonna go see the man who shivers because I guess it's cold in.
Well,
in
he better
Atlanta.
play. Last time he didn't play versus guys, so we're gonna teach him a lesson for not playing. Simple.
Yeah.
We're gonna teach him a
So,
lesson.
anyways, I just had to ask that real quick because Colin told me talk about this on your podcast, and I was like, I have talked about my love for Lowry Markkanen nonstop on the podcast. He said, no, bring up the fact that you wore his jersey and supported the Kings. And so, Colin, I brought it up. It was foul. It was determined by my guys. I'll take the L on this one. Now let's get to the actual games themselves. Javon, the Kings win 3 of their last 4, including 2 wins against Utah. Were you impressed by this past week?
Definitely. I thought they should have won that Memphis game. They kind of just came out flat and never really got a chance to get back on their feet. But, beating the Nuggets, who are the number 1 seed in the Western Conference as of right now, and beating the Utah Jazz, who have been the surprise of the league. But I think that they're a very formidable team who probably should make the playoffs this year. So like I said, you need to build these 3 game out of 4 throughout the week wins over the weeks. If you're able to consistently do that, if you're going to consistently win 3 games a week, 4 games a week, 2 games a week, you're going to find yourself in that playoff picture where are the Kings currently at, and one of you guys could let me know where the Kings currently at right now in the stands. I think that if the Kings consistently, I think the Kings are going to have 2 All-Stars this year in Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, the way that they've been playing this year. So the Kings being the 5th seed this year, I think I said that they would probably go into a play-in situation, but if they're consistently able to win games, 3 to 4 games a week, they're going to be kind of just stuck in that 4, 5, 6 range where they'll just be, hey, we're in the playoffs.
The Kings are currently the 5th seed, as Javon mentioned, and they are at 20-16, 3.5 games behind the Denver Nuggets, who currently hold the number 1 seed in the Western
who we
Conference.
beat.
Okay.
The Kings, and who the Kings just beat, they split the 2 games with them. It should be noted that Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray did not play in that second game. It just context matters.
Context
but
matters.
The Kings won,
to the finals, baby.
The Kings. Okay, so this is how close the West is right now. The Minnesota Timberwolves are the 11 seed right now on the outside of the play-in, and the Kings are 4 games up on them. And then the Kings are 3.5 back of the first place Nuggets. So the Kings are right in the thick of things. 4 games over. I did not think I would say the Kings are 4 games over 500 in 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, they did it.
We're going to win
And
40 games.
Hey, hold on, y'all. We are also
40
undefeated
games.
in 2023. Don't forget that, Sean.
Oh, well, no, they lost to Memphis. They lost at Memphis.
Oh, I'm tripping. I'm an idiot. I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Remember when after the summer
Just like I did that one time.
the team said that the guy that said that you're going to win 40 games, you guys are halfway there.
Hey,
Halfway there.
hopefully everyone took the over on that one. But everyone's been asking me too, when I go to the games and thinking that, like, you think we're going to make the playoffs? You think we're going to make the playoffs? I'm like, I don't know, 100% out. What I see, I've been watching
You guys
basketball.
are too scared
I'm not
to
trying to
answer
act.
the question.
What's the question?
Yeah. The
What's the
question
question?
is if you guys are gonna make the playoffs. You guys don't want to jinx
No,
it, so you guys
we
are gonna
gon'
say.
no, we gonna make the play
Oh.
1,000. I was just to say that right now, Vaughn.
Yeah,
Ain't no hesitation
I was-
here. There's 1,000% we gonna make these playoffs. 1,000%.
yeah, because according to my Stats Over Politics notes, the question was, will the Kings finish as a top 6 seed in the West? And Gary said yes. So I got it right here.
What does Sean say?
Sean said no.
what did Vaughn say? Vaughn said
I
yes
said
or no?
Vaughn said
said-
no. Kevin said
7.
hell yes.
I said
Me and
7.
Kev rocking together. I ain't gonna lie, but like realistically speaking, not even just being a Kings fan from Sacramento, like the beam chant, all that, representing the city now, you know what I'm saying? Just like the cowbell did. I feel like that's a new version of the cowbell, you know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to say that just to be like completely frank, we've been playing good offensively. We know we've been good. We have some some great things in the works in terms of what we're building on, especially I love the way we're playing on offense. Sometimes I get stagnant, but I love how we have different guys coming off every other night. And you can just see it in the players that everyone's loving and buying in. 30 Monk. Don't forget, Herder comes in. Monk came one of these games 2 or 30. Trey Lyles coming off the bench. Don't forget, Metu can come off anytime. TD had a big game on TNT, and he's been, been a little out of lately. So this team has a lot of firepower. We've seen today, Darren Fox, man, clutch time. I remember his clutch numbers at the beginning of the year. I already know they're probably still up there right now. So this team is heading the right direction. You could tell by the other players too when they're coming to our city, Sacramento. We already know it's not no bluff. Like, come to our arena. It's been we ain't felt the playoffs, so we've been acting like it's been playoffs every other game basically. And when it's turned up in there, it's been getting crazy, loud off the roof. And and be realistic speaking, though, we do got some things to improve on. We got to have longer defensive stretches for longer periods of time. We haven't, especially last game when we were down by last home game when we were actually down to Utah. There was actually quite moments in that we just can't get stops at the right time. We need to get some stops. If you're down by 10, you got to put some stops together, and you can't keep exchanging buckets. And they obviously know that. And I think as a Kings fan, we should be obviously happy and a little optimistic right now because we're heading the right direction. It's obviously weird to say because it's always talking negative about the Kings, but we're gonna keep it positive right now. And I think obviously they know the things they need to work on. They're preaching it. And one thing I do like about this team, like a lot of these guys, they're not feeding into obviously the fans' craze of what's happening right now because they can easily fall into that. And maybe sometimes here and there they go into the laws of we should win this game, stuff like that. But I think they got the wake up call and they want to like the coach Mike Brown keeps saying, it's a journey, keep stacking days, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna keep I think that's what the Kings are doing right now. Is keep stacking days, but defensively we gotta step it up and just keep everyone healthy. Sabonis is being a warrior right now, playing through that right now. Broken thumb and all.
Double machine.
Double, simple. So you know what? Let's go. Like the beam, go Kings.
And from the outside looking in, Gary, I could be wrong and you could know more than me, but from the outside looking in, to me, it looks like the players haven't necessarily bought into the hype of oh, we are going to make the playoffs. Oh, we are going to get a top 6 seed. I don't think that necessarily, but I do think that the players have bought in to this whole new era that it seems like with this year with Mike Brown, like the beam, all those things we see on the road. Not only after every win do they give out the defensive player of the game chain, but then also we see on the road that they turn out the lights and the players have their literal laser pointers and they say light the beam, and then they're lighting the beam all around the locker room. And so with that, I do think that they bought in from that aspect and they really enjoy it. And so here we are on Stats Over Politics. Here's a stat for you guys from ESPN Stats and Info. The Kings have reached 20 wins in 40 games or fewer for the first time since the 2018-19 season. And if you remember, that was the year that the Kings won 39 games. It's also the first time that Sacramento has reached 20 wins in 36 games or fewer since the 2004-5 season. So, it's good times in Sacramento right now as we let the good times roll. And hey, if the Kings can have that 5 seed, that's a long name. So, Coffee City. If the Kings can get the 5 seed, I would absolutely love that.
You guys would host. You guys would host.
No.
4
seed
it
would host.
Four and up. Yeah, exactly. It's 4 and up. But also one other thing I wanted to get to is Gary, I believe you were talking about the opposing players coming to Sacramento and now the just what players think coming into Sacramento, how we aren't just a layup anymore.
You guys play the Mavs in the playoffs as the playoffs start today. You guys beating the Mavs?
No.
I don't know.
They got
So-
Luka. They got Luka, bro. Basketball is one of the sports that comes down to majority of the time who's the best player on the floor. And only time really I haven't seen that work. And when you got multiple Hall of Famers, like we said earlier, with LeBron facing the Spurs team, this Golden State Warriors team. Other than that, you got the best player on the floor. That's majority of the time they're going to win their game.
And my favorite quote from this past week, and it doesn't even have to do with the fact that it's from one of my favorite players, Lowry Markkanen, but when someone asked him what he is anticipating on his game in Sacramento last Friday, he said simply 5 words. He said, "Try to avoid the beam." Well, they did not avoid the beam on Friday, and they did not avoid the beam tonight. So I'm happy to see that. Any closing thoughts, gentlemen, from either of you? But anything we talked about, anything we didn't get off our chest?
Oh yeah, Brock Purdy, since he's entered the league, has the highest
Oh, my
QBR
God.
rating. This is a stat that I definitely forgot to.
Oh, let us know. Let us know.
According to PFF, Brock Purdy has the highest passer rating in NFL since he took over as starter, which is 112.7. Stats don't lie. Stats over politics, right?
That's politics. That's a great way to end it.
Eric.
Yeah, that's just how we're gonna have to end it. All right. So Kevin Den already cut out. For Gary Singh, Javon Toddy, I am Sean Holko. We appreciate you all for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review. Find us on YouTube. Find us on Twitter, Instagram. We're all over, and we'll catch you again next Tuesday here on Stats Over Politics.
Peace.